Welcome back to Mosaic. I'm Rabbi Eric Weiss. We're in the middle of a wonderful conversation with Danny Grossman, who's the CEO of the Jewish Community Federation of San Francisco, Marin, and Sonoma counties in the peninsula. Welcome back, Danny.
Thank you.
We were talking about the ways in which organizations make decisions about the kinds of philanthropic decisions they make and services that they offer to the community for the sake of really building a vibrant community. What do you think... It's so hard, I know, to predict the future. None of us really can. But what are some of the things you think that are important to have in mind so that we do meet the future with confidence and poise ourselves for what we think success is going to be? What are maybe some of the ideas or the principles or ways of thinking that you think are important for us to pay attention to?
Yeah. I think we're in a pivot point of a Jewish community that, unfortunately, and for reasons we understand, had a fear-based message about identification with Judaism. It was what...
Fear-based, you said.
Fear-based. Mm-hmm. Fear-based, meaning we are, we have to draw together, we have to protect ourselves, mm-hmm. we are the subjects mm-hmm. of anti-Semitism. Mm-hmm. Again, understandable. I'm not judging it at all. I understand it. Today's younger generations don't understand that. They don't feel the fear, at least in this community. They don't see Israel as vulnerable as it once was, and they want to understand what the value proposition of Judaism is. What's important about identifying with the Jewish community? And we've got to get much better about articulating that and expressing what that is. That's not, again, based on fear, but based on the beauty and the value associated with Jewish life.
When you use the term value proposition, meaning that somebody sees Jewish life as something that will give them succor, that will nourish them, that will give them comfort through hard times, inspire them?
Yes, excite them. They can identify in many ways. 100 years ago, you didn't really have the choice about what your identity was. Today, one can choose. And one can choose beyond a faith-based message. One can say, well, my identity is as a surfer, mm-hmm. or as a writer, mm-hmm. or as a Jew. But why? Mm-hmm. Well, for all the reasons you mentioned, because of the deep tradition that brings comfort, that brings inspiration, that brings obligation and responsibility.
So, it's a fascinating thing, I think, particularly in the Bay Area, that we, in our country, are sort of the end of manifest destiny, not to leave out Alaska or Hawaii, but we have a natural border to our continent, and so we embody that, I think, in the ways of being sort of on the cutting edge of things. And there's a lot of academic history that says that the Jewish community currently will be west to the east rather than east to the west. I'm wondering in that context then, what are some of the things that we see, particularly in the world of inclusion, that are going to become maybe mainstream into the future? I think of the issue of Jews of color, or LGBT Jews, or Jews in interfaith relationships, or all the different ways in which Jewish identity itself can change. What are some of the things you think that are kind of burgeoning up here that actually are going to be the prairie fire, so to speak,
right.
east?
Right. And I'm proud to say, as you acknowledge, that this community and this federation have been on that cutting edge in defining new approaches that do typically roll in a wave eastward. So we are looked at for those reasons. You mentioned one significant realm, which is the realm of identification and acceptance. Who is in the tent, and how do we include them? And we must be much better about that. The next realm, I think, is the realm of expression. We used to think of ourselves, well, if you're Jewish, you go to synagogue and you pray on certain days, and there are so many different ways to be Jewish now, so many exciting, inspired ways that are based on Jewish tradition and history. And I think it's about accepting those and really offering those in the vein that I said before. What is the value proposition of identifying as a Jew?
Wonderful. We're going to take a quick break and come back in just a moment here on Mosaic.